live. I don't care if we're focusing while we're live, right, Internet? What's up, everybody? My friendly camera operator is trying to get it filtered. Oh, it's way further up. Focus. There you go. Yeah.
There we go.
As you can tell, we don't have a moto, so we get to do this our way. Hello, everybody. The highlight of your week? Wow, you're really warming my heart there. What do you want from me? Oh, actually, let's put it on this. It's still really out of focus. Try to focus it for back here, because this is... All right, everyone. Actually, here, let me change the view. You do need to clean your glasses. Here, let me give us a different camera view here while we try to solve this. Oh, God. I remember Emoto was having a bunch of... She was messing with this a lot.
Yeah, she had to put it back to auto.
Yeah, we were screwing with it. All right, Internet, hold on. Nothing's ever easy. Manual, and then you use those little buttons on the bottom. So push the other one. I think it needs to go lower number. Oh, no, I'm wrong as hell.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm an idiot. Here, let me stand there so you can see if my face is in focus. Is that getting any better? Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to spin.
What the hell? Okay, hold on. Technical problems.
There we go. Oh wait, it's coming slowly but surely.
What the hell? That's not right, dude.
Yeah, ew. Okay, let's do this.
Can you maybe move the camera closer?
Let's try and, usually when I zoom in.
Is our camera failing?
Yes.
Here, let me see. This is really bizarre. That looks okay. Wait,
Yeah.
what the hell? Wait, did I tell you to click on something that wasn't this? Okay, wait, hold on. Here, this will be easier to look at it on not like a 2-inch wide screen. All right, everyone, check it out. You can tell that we prepared extremely well. That looks pretty decent.
All right, cool.
That looks pretty okay.
All right.
I'm mostly in focus.
All right.
Wildman, hello. Hello, Spunky. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Pinball Rob. Hello, Edible Bard. Pez Johnson, this is another rerun of Elvira. This isn't actually live. Danicious, that's very kind of you. I'm glad that you show up and we get to do a little bit of hanging out and working. So, yeah, okay, we're in focus.
Yeah.
We'll probably spend a lot of time in this mode. See how I have it in like the big screen instead of like
Oh yeah.
the like, oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. Wait, what's this one? I want to make this one bigger, but this one, yeah, that's all in frame. This one's a little bigger. We don't need all the noise everywhere else. This will be a little bit better. Yeah, don't you like my crazy abilities to answer your questions from the future and past? Hello, I'm here. We were solving problems. Aaron and I are problem solvers. That's what we do. We get paid to do something. All right, we're working on ramps, but how are you guys? You guys are the more important subject here, not my ramps. Oh, I didn't plug in a light either. Let's plug in a light. Yeah, do you want to run that?
I got you.
Please, assistant. Please do all the work for me so I can just sit here and be pretty. Yeah, plug in over here. Ugh. We've got one of the final pieces to the Elvira puzzle, which is putting this hunk of junk back together. Thank you for solving the problems. Aaron, people are thankful for you solving problems.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're here to do some stuff, and I think this will be pretty clinical. We're just going to kind of go through and make stuff work. If you are from America, you might have had a long weekend, so hopefully the long weekend was semi-enjoyable for most of you. I spent it playing video games and eating a lot of pizza and burritos. It was amazing. My wife was gone. That is why I spent most of that time doing that. But we are back. We're here to work on some pinball. Mr. J. Crane, hello. Emoto's not here. Emoto is in Washington and maybe will join us, but probably won't. But she's out there doing pinball stuff. Pez Johnson says to get some parts for your piece of junk taxi. Nice. Oh yeah, I saw that you were streaming it many hours after you had streamed it, so I'm glad you got your hunk of junk taxi working. It's fine there in beautiful, picturesque Croatia, wherever you are in Croatia. I'm sure it's very nice right now. I would love to go to a nice white sands beach in Croatia, in the Adriatic Sea, warming up. That's actually probably the only beach I'd want to go to. I'm not much of a beach. You like going to the beach though, right, Aaron? Aaron likes going to the beach. I don't like the beach. I mean, they're kind of okay. The ones here are too crowded. It is hard to find a beach that's not crowded because all the beaches in South Carolina are very pretty. Or a lot of them are.
Yeah, like Tybee. Tybee's good.
Tybee Island's nice.
Less people.
The California beaches are all rocky and cold. Yeah.
I grew up at the pristine Jersey Shore, so.
Oh yeah, the Jersey Shore. Yeah, the most beautiful, safest, non-toxic waste. No, I'm just kidding. Did you already went to the Indiana Dunes over the weekend? What is the Indiana Dunes? Is it like a big sand dune setup? That's pretty cool. Sounds neat. Pez Johnson likes the beach when it's indoors and without the sand. I'm with you. I don't like sand. It's scratchy and gets everywhere. What's the Star Wars quote? I'm trying to make a stupid Anakin Skywalker joke, whatever. Don't like the sharks? I like the sharks. I guess I just don't want to be next to them. I'm fine that they're out there. I don't want to get in the water. Went to the beaches of Lake Erie. That sounds nice. I bet the lakes are pretty nice. The lakes are pretty cold, aren't they?
I don't think there's any sharks in those.
No sharks. There you go, lake beach life. Hello, Mares99. Welcome in. How's it going? First time chat. Oh, okay. So the Indiana Dunes are on the northern coast of Indiana on Lake Michigan. Okay. Yeah, dude, I'm excited. One of my friend's parents just bought a really nice house on the lake. Well, they had a really nice house on the lake in Milwaukee. And then they bought another house somewhere else in Wisconsin, I guess a little further away from Milwaukee, but it's like literally on the water with a dock and everything. I'm really excited to go visit out there sometime. That'll be cool. Last few months were lots of rain. Well, it's fine. Everywhere needs rain. It was nice that it rained a little bit this weekend. It gave me an excuse as to why I didn't go out and do yard work. And now this weekend it's going to be hella hot, so I might only do a little yard work, but we'll see.
Enough to not get yelled at.
Oh, yeah, by my neighbors. I think my neighbors don't like how my backyard is like a wild, like 3-foot tall weed zone, which I'm fine with because I don't use it and the animals do, so they should have a place to hide, but I'll bring it down a little bit. I just bought Aaron, I'm very proud of this. I just bought a weed whacker, a battery-powered trimmer that runs on the same batteries that my Makita drills and power tools do. It's so cool.
Isn't that awesome?
I feel like a dad. I'm so excited to have. I love tools. Thank you. Yeah, it is time to hydrate. Oh, spending time in Malta. Yeah. My name is like one of the most common Maltese last names. So, growing up in front of your eyes, I'm turning into a real adult. Yeah, actually, that's kind of interesting. Yes, one of my grandfathers was Maltese, which is why I have the Maltese last name. Straight from Malta, came here in the 50s or 60s. But get this, Aaron, and internet. The Malta's a real teeny country, right? Like microscopic. But they give out birthright citizenship in a way, not like an Israel thing, but like since my dad is a first generation Maltese and his dad was Maltese, my dad can get his Maltese citizenship and wants to. So my brother and I are emailing the Maltese consulate to help my dad get his citizenship. And then since my dad would be a citizen, I could be a citizen. And that means I can have an EU passport. And that means I can go visit Europe anywhere without a visa. So it's great. I can stay for more than 30 days.
Yeah.
And when I get to Europe, I can travel on an EU passport. It's so much easier.
Yeah, I knew one of those.
Yeah. Hey, I know how you can get one. You can get married. But it'll be great, because then one day when I decide that I'm fed up with America and I want to go live somewhere else, I'll just have a passport and I can be, hopping around. So.
Exit pinball games in the Maltese.
There is. We actually have a few customers in Malta.
Wow.
And I email him. He emails me for help every once in a while, but I want to go visit him. He lives on the Big Island, and like any Maltese person, when they found out you're Maltese, they're like, "Oh, come stay with me and stay with my whole extended family, and we'll put you up." And it's pretty cool. So, yeah. So if there's any Europeans that need me to sign like a work thing, and I'll be a citizen, I'll just be your personal pinball fixer, and I'll live over there. Anyways, let's actually work on a pinball game instead of all of this stuff. I got new ramps, and we put decals on them, and slowly transferring the things over, such as plastics and switches, etc. So there are a few lessons to be learned, I think, that we can teach from doing a little bit of this. We've done it a few times on other games, but it's always a good time to show off some tools. Aaron, I'm undoing your work here,
Okay.
which is fine. You did it valiantly and very well, but I want to show people how to use that tool, because we don't get to use those very often.
You do sell them.
Do we sell ones that look like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good, because there's like a couple different kinds of those, and I hate all of them except for these,
Yeah.
because like they don't fail as much. But anyways, we'll get to the tools later. Yeah, ramps, decals, pain in the ass. It is annoying to put decals on ramps. There is no like extremely easy way to do it, but you can do it. Just keep trying and take your time. That is the best advice I could give you on that. One thing I like to do when I'm doing decals is, like, without any special equipment, you can half peel the decals, right? So you can kind of like place one end and try to line it up the best you can to lay it down. If you don't like really ramp on the force, pressure onto the decals while you're installing them, they can come back up. A lot of the time on these reproduction ramps, the material will, the adhesive will allow you to peel up once or twice to try and try a better second shot if you screw up the first time, which is absolutely going to happen. I screw up putting decals on all the time. Since they are like on a clear plastic, it's not hard to get them down and off. Unlike some of the struggles I had when I was putting the decals on my Lego McLaren F1 car Technic set, which was, it's hard. It's hard to get those things lined up in like square. I'm not a wizard at stuff like that. So we've got, with our CPR, Classic Playfield Reproductions plastic set, we do have some replacement like fly ball and ball trap ramp pieces. So this is one of them. Maybe we'll change the camera. Actually, Aaron, here, you can practice that. Come over here on the computer. So click on the OBS window. Click on the top, like on the very top of the, where the X is, but don't click the X.
Yeah, up here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess it's in frame. Okay, so center. So switch center to. Click on the little eyeball next to. Actually, wait. Scroll up just a little bit with the mouse wheel. Okay, so Razor B is this camera. So scroll down under center, that folder, right? Yep. So click the eyeball next to that one. Hey. Okay. Now go scroll up, and then in the top right, click the eyeball next to Sony. And since Sony is above Razor, it's going to over-prioritize that, right? So.
Good.
Oh, hey, hold on. We're getting a tip here. Put the Lego element on another Lego element, so you make a bracket you can hold. Oh, yeah, make a nice little jig. Brilliant. Thank you for that tip. I don't know why I never thought about that. Like, 'cause a lot of the time I'll like put it on the actual model and then I'll struggle to like hold it and line it up the right way, maybe due to other things around the model. That's fantastic. I'm gonna take advantage of that. Okay, so we're gonna start scavenging things for hardware, right? So let's take a look at this ramp. There's a bunch of flyball protection pieces attached to this. So we can reuse this hardware. There's no reason not to, but the plastic will be replaced because I have a new one right here. So I'm gonna take this apart really quick. One thing to keep in mind, and this is something that is a truth in almost any industry that involves parts, is replacement parts are never perfect. Generally, they are very close, or they'll be very perfect, but they're not always exact. And there's something to consider here, right? Our new ramps that we are installing onto Elvira are made off of the original molds, yeah. But they're from a group called Starship Fantasy. Been making ramps for pinball games for quite some time. They're wonderful people and they do great work. But here they think, and the nice thing about those ramps too, they do include decals, and most of the time they'll include, all the flaps and bracketry that you may need to transfer things over to your game, so you don't have to take tons of stuff from your old ramps. I'm taking switches and some of this hardware, but we are dealing with multiple vendors here, right? So we have a plastic set from Classic Playfield Reproductions. They also make some good stuff. But, right, so like we're putting on some of these flyball protectors, and one vendor will have the ramps drilled where they should be, or where they are, and then the plastics company is going to put the holes in where they are, and they might not always match up. So again, I always like to remind people that pinball is extremely DIY. We know this, but especially DIY when you're dealing with replacement parts from multiple vendors. So don't be afraid to make some modifications and buy some tools. I love buying tools, like my weed whacker. But buying a nice set of acrylic bits to drill into plastic nicely, to make the holes bigger, or to resize holes, or to have to move things. You have to be prepared to do that kind of stuff. And especially with things that can take like multiple forms, like plastic, right? If the Starship Fantasy ramps are made off of a lot of the original tooling that Williams built when they made the games. But that doesn't mean that they're using the same drilling rig. That doesn't mean that that tool didn't have to be repaired, and maybe something is going to be a teeny bit off, right? I need to get friend of the show, Ramp-O-Matic, back on. We had Jody Gontero of Ramp-O-Matic on the show once, and he very graciously sent me those ramps for Baywatch when we put those on. And if you guys don't remember, I think those ramps were actually a prototype ramp, but we did need to add a hole here, and we had to move things a little bit. We had to screw around with stuff a little bit, and that's normal. So just keep that in mind, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I don't even know where I was going with that last thing, but that episode might have been pretty good. I'd go back and watch it, but I'd really like to have Jody back on the show, and I think I can do that. Jackie Tran, Kyle, thanks to you and your advice from the last stream, my Genesis robot reveal's now working. I just had to bend the switch a little bit. Nice. Hey, thanks for the thanks, and I'm really glad that that was that simple. Yeah, always remember with pinball stuff, when things move, they'll go out of adjustment, So you do need to bend and wiggle things more often than you'd think. Yeah, Daniel brings up a good point. A Dremel tool is an awesome, awesome tool for doing pinball stuff. Even if you didn't have like a full-size drill motor, right? Maybe you live in a flat and you sacrificed all of your storage places that you might keep tools. so you could have your pinball game, and you don't have enough room for a drill, or why would the hell would I have a drill because I have no use for it. Dremel tools are a great thing. You can actually get small drill bits to use with a Dremel, and you can do some plunging action with a Dremel. They don't just have cut-off and polishing wheels. They're a very versatile tool, and they do come in handy for pinball. Okay, Aaron, you said that this big boy went on the top of this ramp like this, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see 3 holes.
The screws are right there.
Nice. I will utilize these 2 holes here. Actually, that doesn't fit in that hole.
It only had the 2. I know one was on the inner and one was on one of the outers.
One was on the inner as in like here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where it looks like, because this hole back here is too large.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, let's put this back together. I'm going to clean the heads of these screws. Again, this is a real cheap and easy thing you can do. I can replace this piece of hardware, and if I had a perfectly set up shop, I would, and if I was trying to make this game like uniformly perfect shiny, I would, but we've been over why we are not necessarily cutting corners, but we are doing things just the more efficient way. You know, I guess there's a part of me that could argue against what I'm doing, like why are you putting new ramps on if you're not putting new hardware on? Okay, yeah, definitely, but I think the route I'm taking on this game is replacing the hardware that is visible. And this teeny number 8 truss head screw that I now just polished is not like front and center, and it's not going to offend anybody. And if it offends you, I might be sorry, but this is what I'm doing. When you're putting decals on your ramp too, you are the only person that is going to stare at the orientation of that damn decal as hard as you are when you're putting it on. The decals didn't line up 100% perfect on these ramps. They were 90% of the way there. Some of them, the radii were a little off, and that's fine. You're never going to notice it when it's all together, and you're the only person that will ever notice it then. In 6 months, you'll forget that you even went over that. And so those are the little things I like to remind people that it's not a big deal. Pinball games are not Tiffany eggs. Look at how shiny this guy is. It's not going to be in focus because I can't focus this camera, but that came out really nice. It's not grody anymore. So this hole doesn't line up perfect, but we'll make it work, and we'll get this sucker screwed in. All right, chat says, and thanks, Kyle. For me, I made the corrections to the shaker and the VP. Really? So what did you end up doing? Did you like reduce the amount of shake significantly, or what was the goal there? Way Out West, or what was the result? Way Out West said, I was playing Baywatch this weekend. A ball kicked up and knocked off one of those red light covers on the ramp onto the playfield. Sadly, it was blocking the right lane, and their tech wasn't on. Oh no! That's not fun. That's not fun. Hey, thanks for the kind words. And Baywatch is a great game. I was playing Baywatch when I got here. Yeah, when Erin got here. She snuck in while I was playing Baywatch. Plunging action. Hey, that's right. We tried all the combinations. So I met, or Mr. J. Crane brought his shaker motor to me at the Golden State show. I showed him how you can like change the position of the weights to make it more or less balanced, so you didn't have like a shaker motor that like will rumble your house off the foundation. So I'm glad you found a good final effect there. So.
Wobble effect.
Yeah. Well, there's some games that kind of overuse, like on TNA, I had to adjust my shaker motor a little bit because it was too much. And it's for the effect, that's fine, but it's a little gnarly. Anyways, here's a ramp that's done. Let's put this one away, and let's do a little bit of a learning something with the other ramp here. So one thing that we found when we were fiddling with ramps a little bit, here's the new ramp. You can pretty easily tell which is which. One of them is pretty gross and grody, and here is a nice, new, clean, shiny ramp. But The original way that these were installed, these switch brackets, was they're riveted. Thankfully, the switches are screwed onto those brackets using a little number 2, a 256 screw, I think is what it is. So number 2 is the size, 56 is the amount of threads in 1 inch, because that is the way America decided it made sense to measure things, because why not, right? But here's the new ramp, and it comes with a nice new bracketed or a riveted switch bracket. So we need to transfer the switch. And again, the ramps don't come with decals on them. I had to place the decals on this ramp. What we run into, where Erin found when she was stripping it for me, was, well, how the hell do we get this out of the ramp, right? Well, we've got a big switch, and that definitely doesn't fit through the hole. And then on the other end, we have a plug housing that I couldn't get the other plug into because we took it apart. But there's a tool we can use to get this apart. This is a round Molex a pin extractor tool dealio. This one is from Waldom Electronics. We sell these. This is the tool I would recommend. Do not get the super basic ones. Spend a little bit more money and get a tool that will work a whole lot better than a real basic cheap thing. I know we sell like a real basic one too. I do not recommend those things. These pins are kind of a pain in the butt to get out. When I'm going to differentiate like a cheap one, some of them will just be a tube that doesn't have any plunging action. Here is another version of a pin extractor that you might see. So this is a .084. These are more, hold on, let me get the other one. There's 3 sizes you'll find, and 2 sizes are used in pinball. This is a 093. That's what we refer to it in America. I forget what the millimeter size is, but it's .093 of an inch wide, because that is a measurement that makes sense for some reason. We're going to keep the metric train going. We're going to shame the standard system. So this is a common pin or extractor. It's the big boy, and then you've got a smaller one. This is 0.62 of an inch. A lot of video games, a lot of Japanese video games will use another in-between size, like a 0.84, I think is the size of this one. And that's why I keep this one in my bag, just in case. But pinball size, 0.62 and 0.93. A inexpensive pin extractor, which is one that I wouldn't recommend you buy, will literally just be this hollow tube. And the way those are supposed to work is you're supposed to put it around the pin and yank it out the back. The nice thing about these ones is they are sprung or they have a plunger. So I can gather up the splines on that pin and then use the plunger to push it out of the housing. I'm going to put this one back, and I'll show you what I mean. We're going to use this a few times. So if we look at the anatomy of the pin, I'll use this one that I have out. Actually, this is not going to be able to focus on that at all. That's fine. Let me read the chat here. Daniel broke a whodunit in a hotel in Spain. Good man. Whodunit's a great game. I love that game. Brooks Brews and Booze. As a huge Elvira fan, I'm happy right now. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining our chat. Hello to you. Thanks for being here. We're working on getting our Elvira back together here so the customer can take it back home and enjoy the game. Welcome and enjoy. The red screw gauge. The red screw gauge is on my desk right now because I'm enjoying it. I have all those tools you gave me, which I'll bring in next week. Thank you again. But we have this tool. How does this work? Well, on this pin, you're going to have to believe me here. But the way this works is you insert this pin into the housing. This is the end, right? This is the wire side, closer to my finger. But on this actual pin, there's some barbs that stick out and point backwards towards the housing. So when it gets pushed inside, when this gets pushed inside the housing, that will allow it to not come back out because those barbs face backwards and face against the housing. What this tool does is allows you to slip it over the pin, thus depressing the barbs. And when the barbs are then depressed, you can remove the pin from the back of the housing. Shucks. I just broke one of the barbs on this guy.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's fine on one of these guys. But speaking of the barbs and doing it correctly, you do have to be careful because if you can kind of mangle them if you don't do this right. The steps we will take to use a Molex extractor, a pin extractor tool versus a housing will be to first take the wire, hold the housing, and push the wire forward. What we want to do is we want to get the pin sticking as far out as it can into the outside of the housing, right? Push it out. Then we'll take our tool and we will gather up the pin, make sure it's sticking out, and then we'll gather up those tangs, right? We want to make sure that we're gathering them up and it's not being pushed back into the housing. Once we feel that it's bottomed out, hold the housing, grab the extractor tool like this, and push. And it pops it out. There is a solid pin inside here, so when you gather up all of the pin and the barbs, and then we push down, a little arm or a finger comes out and pushes the tip of the pin out. If we were using a cheaper or worse version of this tool, the extraction would need to be you pulling the wire out of the housing, and that's just not right. That's not a good way to do it. So. Orbiter Guitars, what's up, man? Welcome. I'm glad you are here as well. I remember talking with you a couple weeks ago. Chris Shower just sold a pin game called Winners. You made $22 gambling on that game. Hey, good for you. That's always sad to sell a pinball game, and it is always fun to play pinball games for money with your friends, not in a organized manner, but it is always fun to gamble a little bit. You can raise the stakes. Sometimes getting these out of the holes in the ramps is a pain in the butt. If a lot of the times the holes are like too small to accept both pins at the same time, so you can try to like snake one out at a time, or at least get like the bulk of one out if you can. The reason why we do this is just there's no reason to replace these things if you have the proper tools to extract them. There we go. And we have one icky dirty ramp, which we can now set aside. So yeah, that is something. That's how you do that. This goes in through that front hole, right? Yeah, it goes through here because this is where the ball gate sits. So one thing I'll do with these ball gates a lot of the time too is just clean them up. These, unless they're like really rusty, they're pretty easy to polish up. Take your trusty, dirty Novus rag, apply some Novus to the said rag. How did the ramps get that damaged or worn? Well, they exist in a pinball game for 34 years. That'll do it. They'll get pretty nasty. This ramp, this ball gate's not that bad. It's a little rusty. You can kind of see it here next to my finger, but that's such a small superficial surface rust. It'll easily come off with a little bit of polishing from our Novus. This is why Novus is really a wonder product. It does an amazing job cleaning so many things. Now, this is extremely light. It works very well in this instance. If you needed to take off some serious pitting or some really bad discoloration from some of this metal, a more metal-focused cleaner might be better. Barkeeper's Friend does an amazing job on some of this stuff in legs. I know that there's a couple other metal polishes that unfortunately I can't recall right now while I'm trying to give recommendations, but I like Barkeeper's Friend. That's a really good solution. So yeah, you can clean this up and just make it look a bit better. wire gates, when we're changing wire gates out on ramps, or if you're missing a wire gate, some of the real simple ones can be bent yourself. Some of the more complex ones, like this, where it has multiple dips and ups and downs, can be a little hard to bend yourself, but it's not impossible. I would, oh wait, you know what? Hold on. Hold that thought. I just gotta, oh, never mind, that's just Crystal. I think I closed Slack, and I know that Emoto was maybe going to want to join us, and I think I want to make sure Slack is open just in case she messages me, and she hasn't, so that's fine. You can bend simple wire gates. They're not that hard. Some of these are a little harder. I would not say that this is a hard one to bend, but thankfully we actually do have a decent amount of wire gates available for sale. Look in your manual. All of the part numbers are there. Well, hopefully they're there, but not all of them are available. They're just hard, and it's an economy of scale thing, right? We could try to make a couple that maybe like unique ones that were only used on one game, but it gets expensive. Having things made in small scale is not cheap. But anywho, we can install our lovely ball gate bracket. Oh, wait, hold on. We've got some more screws to polish up here. I'm just doing the quick and dirty job. I'm really excited to play this. Aaron, have you played much of this game?
I remember playing it in Savannah a while back.
Oh, yeah, but that one's not the nicest,
No,
Elvira.
but
Okay.
it wasn't at, well, I played it twice because they had one at the barcade we went to, and then they had it at the museum.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't remember the name of the bar we went to that had
I forgot the name of that place in Savannah, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you guys, chat? Have you guys ever played Elvira in the Party Monsters? It's definitely one of my favorite games for the era, just because it's silly. I like silly pinball a lot. Lighthearted, silly is fun. But yeah, it's a simple, funny game. Good music, good voice. Elvira lent her voice to this game, of course, and her likeness. Elvira has a trilogy of pinball games, which is super cool.
The Portal. That's what it was called.
Yeah, the Portal. Yeah, I remember that place. These things take nuts. Oh, that's backwards. I know it was backwards the way I was trying to install it because the long end here has a dog leg in it, this side here. So when it actuates, it will move the switch up and down, where this end is just straight, which would do absolutely nothing when the gate rotates. So make sure we get it on the correct way. I'm going to take one of these Kep's nuts.
They said this poor guy had his machine stolen.
Who?
Yesterday evening, one of my friends from neighboring Slovenia had attacked from our stone.
Wow, that's terrible. Was it? Did someone break into their house and steal their game, or was it a? Gosh, I.
I can't even imagine attempting to steal a pinball.
Yeah, stealing a pinball machine would be a very difficult. I mean, honestly, I'd be very impressed if someone was able to steal a pinball game in a. I mean, I guess it's. I don't know. I don't want to talk about theft. Yeah, they should make a movie about that. That's terrible. My friend TJ was telling me about how he was in a Home Depot once and he came back to his truck where people had absolutely attempted to steal the games by moving his lift gate on his truck and like trying to mess with them in the back. But I was just like, oh my God.
Be careful out there, friends.
Oh God, I just dropped a screw. Where'd you go?
On location.
On location? Yeah, well see, that's really honestly the scary thing, and that's why you really gotta, oh no, where'd my screw go?
Oh no.
You gotta be friends and careful with like the location owners, because really like, I mean, if you pretend like you know what you're doing, you can get away with a whole lot more than you think you can. I can't tell you how many places I've been able to just like walk into that I mean, like I was supposed to be there. I'm saying this for legal reasons. Supposed to be there, but it's, but there was no like checking, and you're just like, wow, how did I pull that off, right? I mean, it's awful to say, but I mean, you think about it, like my pinball games in a bar, if someone looked like they knew what they were doing and they said, hey, I'm here to pick up the game, they just walk in, fold it up, and take it out. I mean, that is a possibility, and that's awful.
Like, I could probably do that. I could probably be like, hey, I'm here to pick up some
You could. You could go to Art Bar and say, hey, I'm here to pick up that roller games, and they'd probably just let you take it.
Yeah,
and that's,
like, okay.
so, I mean, I don't know. I'm, of course, not condoning people stealing stuff. That's terrible, but
Be careful.
yeah. That is a risk you run by letting people enjoy things in a public spot, you know. When I'm placing pinball games, I very much do not like them to be in dark places or like places that are not attended, right? Like, you know, because I want people to enjoy my games, and it's not a Tiffany egg. I don't want to keep it perfect and unplayed and blah, blah, blah. But I also, you know, don't want my game to be screwed up. So, yeah, don't steal roller games, Aaron. I'll let you borrow roller games if you want it that bad. Jeez.
Crank now. Just go in there and take
Just steal it.
and put it in here one day.
It's like, what the hell? I love me some roller games. Trying to get this nut in here. The way these ramps are formed, they actually like hold the nut in place while you're trying to screw the ramp in. And I'll kind of show that in a second, but first I need to get the dang thing in. It's not easy. Come on now. This is, oh God. Don't lose another piece of hardware. Thankfully I had another one. Oh God. Oh God. I don't know why. I always work like right on the edge of the workbench, like negating any usefulness of a workbench. Okay, let's do it like this. This hole, I think, is just, it's like a little off in a way that this is not going to go in super easy. So you've got like a fold over, like a lip on the edge of the ramp, the way it's like designed or put together. But there, it kind of holds the nut for the screw, but it is kind of hard to get it lined up and flush. So that is kind of what I'm struggling with here. One second, you can kind of push it in. Okay, so if I do it like that, I can probably get this in, and through like a bit of luck and persistence, we might be able to get this thing back together. No. I kind of want to play some roller games now. Go for the wall.
I always play it when I go in there.
Does it still work?
Haven't been in a while. It worked the last time it was there.
Josh goes in there a lot to like look, like fiddle with his stuff, and usually he'll tell me if it's like very broken, but he'll take care of the small stuff. I gotta go pick up the money from that game. It's been months since I've gone there and taken the money out. So if you're in Columbia, South Carolina, please don't go steal my money. It's like there's gonna be any money in there anyways.
Well, I put quarters there.
It's like a couple $100 like every other month or something. It's not that much. Come on, you jerk. Okay, let's bust out the screwdriver now because I'm getting frustrated. It kind of goes in, but like the way that the lip on the plastic is formed, it's kind of forcing it one way versus another. So it's kind of angling the threading away from the angle that the screw is coming in. So I'm trying to mitigate that right now.
I don't know if that's to you. It's Ted Johnson says, coin mechs are jammed with quarters in the cash box.
Oh, yeah. Well, thankfully with that location, since like we don't have a change machine in there, I very much trust the owners of that bar, and they do the count. They count and take the quarters and just pay out cash. And I trust them, and I don't feel like I've ever been cheated. So, yeah, thankfully. But yes, I have. That is great when coins are stacked up so dang high in the cash box that they jam the coin mix. It's a good feeling. We used to have a pool table I used to take care of at a hotel in San Francisco that belonged to my boss, and that happened all the time.
Oh, I bet.
All the time. I'd have to go and collect, and it would be like 4 trips to the truck with those giant quarter bags, and there'd be way too much money in that thing. And then we had to move it out. That was a sad day, because moving pool tables is not fun. Well, goodness gracious, this is a pain in the butt. I think I'm going to try to stop talking and just kind of look at this for a second. So sorry, y'all don't get good camera angles, and I'm not going to say much. What I fear is I'm going to have to like get a knife and shave a little bit of the ramp down on this side so this can fit a little bit better. The other thing I can do is actually try a different nut. Maybe an elastic stop nut would be better, because the Kep's nut, it's not going to focus. This is a Kep's nut. And what it is since even if it doesn't focus, there's a captive lock washer, and that allows you to have a lock washer without actually having a separated lock washer. And those are KEPS. That's what that is. I don't remember what it stands for. An ESN, elastic stop nut, is a very common style of nut with that bit of rubber or plastic on the inside that helps hold the screw, so vibrations can't really like knock it loose or anything. The washer is adding like a micron of width, so I am going to just try a different nut here. I was using an elastic stop nut or a Kep's nut just because that's what I took out. But I have a pile of elastic stop nuts that were not pretty enough to use on the top of the playfield. Man, it's just off. The hole is off by like 1/2 millimeter. So I'm trying to think of ways to mitigate this. Maybe using a longer screw would kind of help. And then I could tighten it, and we could get the nut to kind of force and bend its way into position. That way I don't need to like shave or do any sort of like scratching to the ramp. Not that it matters that much, as long as it fits together. That's really what is more important. But maybe this is not working. Well, boy howdy. This is annoying. Let's see. I'm kind of like wanting to just skip this so we can move on and try to learn something new, but I think this is actually, people enjoy this sometimes, maybe because they want to see me struggle, or also because this is real. This actually happens when you're working on a game and things aren't perfect. So I'm going to take my art knife. Actually, I'm going to check the chat. Sucker. I am a sucker. The name comes from Kep in shake proof. And the S is because usually more than one are purchased, according to Wiki. Interesting. Patriot Pinball. I was thinking about warming it up. That was kind of my next idea. But what I think I want to do really quick, unfortunately, I just don't have a hair dryer. No, this is not. I don't have a heat gun. It is sunny outside, but that brings risk of deforming more than you want to deform.
You also
A lighter would just make a friggin' mess of this thing. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, we're going to try the semi-nuclear option of using a longer screw. This is not much longer, but it's a post. But I'm wondering if I could thread it onto something a bit longer and kind of force it into position. And if that would bend the ramp out. Is there a heat gun over there? Now I'm trying to think. Like there might actually be it might not be a heat gun, but if there's a hair dryer, there, yeah, it might be on that weird like shelf. A heat gun? Oh. Well, boy howdy. Let's oh, that one's scary. That one used to be at the office. This is like some terrifying thing from the 60s that'll probably...
Deluxe heat gun.
Yeah, seriously. When working with this kind of stuff, I much prefer a hair dryer. Use a heat gun at your own risk. Hair dryers can also get really hot, but heat guns generally get a lot hotter. And when you're working with plastic, that can cause headaches and unfortunate mistakes. Oh God, it smells like weirdness. So what we're going to try to do here, I'm going to try heating up the screw and then enlarging the hole a little bit. The heat will allow me to maybe oblong the whatchamacallit, the hole just a teeny bit. You know what, actually, let me just try applying heat to this one area. If I can make that a bit malleable. This is made of PETG, I think, which is a very strong plastic that bends nicely. Hey, Aaron, could you bring that cart a little closer? I have this heat gun on low. This one's actually not that bad. Maybe I remember something else. I keep moving the heat gun. I like to move the heat gun because that allows you to not just focus it in one spot. Moving the heat gun will, I don't know, really spread the heat around so you're not melting one small area. Make sure you have something safe to set the hot heat gun down on when you're done. What I will now try to do is see if I've gotten enough movability, malleable moviness around here. I might need to heat this up again. Or I need to actually physically bend it, which is going to take a lot more heat. So sorry if this is like super duper loud also with the microphone. I'm gonna turn it on to high heat. And what I'm doing is I'm getting the plastic hot. I'm getting the lip of that plastic hot. And then I'm going to use a tool. I'm using my nut driver here to press and try to make that space just a little bit bigger, but keep it uniform. I don't want to use like anything to mar the surface too bad. I've got good movement there. Okay, so that thing's super duper hot. I got it to move. And now that screw is even a little bit, holy moly, that's actually quite hot. But that got, God dang it, son of a gun. me see if I can do this. I'm not talking because I'm trying to concentrate. Big fat bingo. All right, that worked. So there you go. Look, I'm not a sham. I can actually do things. Here's what it goes back to, right? What I said about replacement parts not always being perfect and not everything being totally plug and play all the time. So let me show you the finished results once I get this thing tightened in.
Another suggestion was heat up a screw with a lighter.
Yeah, that's a good idea. If we, that's what I was thinking about doing too, is heating up the screw and then like reaming the hole out a little bit to give myself more wiggle room. Okay, what the issue was, because I didn't really show it on camera, it's super perfect, but, oh, this got bent a little too. Bend that back.
It's good on there.
Yeah, it's shiny. The hole for this is very far over to the left side of your screen. This lip came down and didn't allow the nut to have the opening for the nut in the screw in the correct spot. So it was forced over maybe like a ½ millimeter to the other side, which made it extremely hard to install. Now let's think about the way ramps are made too. Like these things are, this is vacuum formed, the way a ramp is made. You have a mold, and what you'll do is the mold is sitting inside of basically an oven. And then you put a piece of plastic over it. There's a bunch of hot air that makes the plastic extremely malleable. And then there is a vacuum that on the inside that turns on, and it sucks that super hot piece of plastic down around the mold. That's what. Well, this actually might be a reverse mold too, which is I think that's how these lips are made. But that's vacuum forming, right? Vacuum forming is taking a reverse or inverse image of what you need to make, heat up some plastic, and suck it down over. So these are from a bit of the mold. But what happens, right, like when you're, I'm trying to think of a different example, but this is probably like an 1/8 inch piece of plastic, and that's what you can see here. When you have to heat that and it has to be pulled, right? You're moving a 2-dimensional object into 3 dimensions, it thins out. So you end up having like a really thick bit at the top where it is being pulled, but then around where the tool is and you're pulling, it thins out. So that's why a lot of it, like if you look at the thickness, right? Look at the thickness of that, and then look at the thickness of the wall of the ramp. You can see it right there. It's not much, but this is much thicker than this is. And that's just inherent in how vacuum forming works. That's also why a lot of the original Williams ramps were made out of a rather thin plastic, and these upgrades are made out of, or these new ramps are made out of generally thicker plastic. They last longer. The original ramps were usually really thin around the entrances, and that's why they crack. So anyways, I heated it up, and yeah, clap, 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 clap. Now it fits. Anywho, malleability, vacuum forming, reminds me of my previous career. Good. I'm glad I reminded you of something. Hopefully it was a good career. Maybe you were a vacuum formist. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to string this guy along. Extra thick with like 3 C's. It's a super scaled up version of making blister packs for consumer products. Vacuum forming from the 80s. That's how the He-Man Castle Grayskull was made. Oh, really?
Cool.
Interesting.
That's expensive now.
Yeah, I bet. When you think about it too, like there's an extent, right? When you think about ramps, look at the shape and size of ramps in your pinball games. There is a maximum depth, there is a maximum height you can make a ramp because of the way vacuum forming works, right? When you're pulling that hot plastic down around a mold, the thickness is going to be way different depending on how tall something is as well. When you look at a ramp like roller games, which is insane how deep it is, like that is like the extent of how much you can make a ramp, you know, or how high you can make a ramp. Look at the Foo Fighters. The right ramp is insanely tall. You couldn't vacuum form that. It's way too tall. Without starting with like an extremely thick piece of plastic, but then your dimensions elsewhere are going to be affected. Anyways, pinball, it's hard. It's not as easy as you think. Put our switch on. Here's a pro tip for you. Make sure the switches work before you put the whole game together and you're like, all right, everything's all good. Sometimes it is a good idea to, well, I always double check the adjustment of the switches while I have the ramp off the game. It's a lot easier to manipulate the ramp. It's something I challenge you guys to do, I guess. Like, you know, if you're curious enough to spend time listening to me ramble about how to fix your pinball game, look at things and think about how they're made. That's always one of my favorite things, is looking at something and trying to figure out how did someone make that. Everything you touch, everything you deal with was made by somebody or something. And that's pretty amazing. Learning how plastic things are made really blows me away. It's a really interesting science and field. One of my favorite little gizmos is a moldorama, right? If you guys have seen those, it's a coin-operated injection mold where it makes you toys. You put $1 in, the little injection mold tool closes, it pumps hot plastic into it, and then it, you know, stops pumping and cools the toy, and then it opens and pops it out, and it falls into a little tray that you pick up.
I've never seen one of those.
You've never seen one?
No, that's so cool.
They're so neat. So they were like made in the Midwest. There's Moldorama and Moldomatic. They're both basically the same thing, but it's like under glass. They were made in the 60s. You've never seen them?
I've never seen one.
Oh man, I've got a bunch of them at home because I collect them.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to Chicago or Disney or something, they have some there. But it's neat, and it's injection molding. It's an injection molded toy in front of you. But that's how so many plastic things are made. This toolbox was probably it definitely was injection molded. There's two tools that fit together. It pumps it full of plastic, and then you have these cases. And I don't know, just it's really neat. Engineering is cool. Yeah. If I would have done better in school or realized that history was not something worth studying for an interesting job, well, it is, but I feel like I should have been an engineer. Now I just pretend to be an engineer. Okay, super cool. We can take our housing. Williams always put the switch column or the green wire in the top, the pointy end of the house. I will show that to you, why I call it the pointy end of the house. So you look at one of these 2-pin Molex connectors, again, out of focus, apologies. See how one end is flat and one end is kind of pointy at the top? I always say that's the top of the house. So the green one goes on the top. You can always double check on the opposite side. On the harness side, it will match. So I don't think there's any other plastics attached to this one, right?
Nope.
All right. We can put this one over here. Let's look at one more ramp. I think we only have one more switch to do, and then we can maybe try to fit them. I don't know what time it is. I don't think we've anywhere near 4:10. Holy crap. I've been blabbering for a long time. Okay, well, at least see if we can get one ramp on the game. I'm going to cut these zip ties here. Okay, goodbye zip tie. We're going to take our handy dandy number 1 screwdriver. We were talking about those 256 screws. You do need to use a number 1 screwdriver for that, not a number 2, which is the more standard size that we use on basically every screw. So you don't round or ruin these heads. If you own any Bally Williams games from the 80s, 90s, definitely buy some of these little screws. You'll thank me when you really, really need one. The even new Stern games too. New Stern games use a number 256 screw, but they use a hex head that requires a 3/16 inch nut driver. So if you have new Stern games, I would definitely buy some of those too if they ever. On my microphone pack over here. Let me put that on the front. Sorry about that, y'all. What was I talking about? Oh, we were talking about the where wires go or whatever in Molex housings. It's just, no, that doesn't mean anything. It means that whatever the harness designer decided to put together is how it goes. And hopefully they follow that same scheme throughout the rest of the harness that you are working on. But most of the times, Williams would always put the green one at the top. And those sorts of things just make it easier to assemble, right? When you have the people on the harness assembly line, you're just, you implement those sorts of things for ease of memory. And then 30 years down the line, when people like me are working on those things, like we remember too. So then you never have to question. And you're like, ah, yes, green top. But also don't rely on your instincts because they can be wrong. Hey, you guys want to learn something that really grinds my gears? Okay. These things are called flush cutters. Why? Because they cut very flush. The bottom is flat. You see that? Okay. When you're cutting a zip tie, don't be a monster and cut it away from the head, or don't cut it like at a weird angle so you can just slice your hands up. Cut them flat. Get flat against that head of the zip tie and cut it so it's flush, and then it won't cut you, even though this one actually still came out sharp. Oh, it's because this is a piece of crap cutter, but cut them flat. It will keep you from destroying your hands on zip ties when you're messing around with stuff. Anyways, okay. We've got a Kyle's stupid rants. No one wants to hear that. Audio is back. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry, y'all. Yeah, we're going to switch the camera. How do we want to do that? I guess, actually, no, it's going to stay in this orientation because your camera can't really see the game as well as this thing can. Okay. What do I need to do now? What can I not get to? This is where things get confused. This is where things kind of get like make or break. Because you start putting things together, and then you're like, oh crap, I can't get to that anymore because I put the ramps on. I'm pretty sure I was a little neurotic about doing that last week when we were starting to kind of put plastics back on, etc. The only thing I can think of is maybe the pop bumper caps, and I don't think I have the screws for those. I keep forgetting. But I think we can still get to those pop bumper caps even if we install the ramps. It looks like this harness probably lives back here. We know that this ramp snakes into the back because it's cool like that. Now it's stuck because I pinched the wire. Okay. We start setting things up, right? So here's one ramp. This ramp doesn't go on first. The right ramp needs to go on first because it sits underneath this. So let me get the left ramp. The left ramp connects with this guy back here. I don't know why I was like, where does it go? Because I'm an idiot. Wait, no, I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Oh, no, it's just actually like really intense. It goes like really far back. And something isn't right. Am I being dumb? This might actually be better solved by lifting the playfield up. So give me a sec. Melt the pointy zip tie end with something hot. That's also a great idea. Then you absolutely flatten the... Oh, nice. Yeah, thanks. The ramp, since I put the ramp in, it's been getting stuck on this harness. So I'll need to dress this harness a little bit better as well. But what I want to do is, where's the lockdown bar? I want to see what's up with that left ramp and why it is not fitting how I think it is. Here's a pro tip. Be very careful. This.
Would you rather me hold it?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
The regular lock bar or prop bar will put this thing up like at a really high angle. I don't want it that high. So you can very carefully shove the lock trim somewhere and try to jam it in where you can maneuver around the back a little. Okay, so the problem was I was just being a dingus, and there's a bracket in the back of the game. There's a bracket in the back of the game where both of those ramps like slide onto, and when I was installing it, it was like running into that bracket, and I was like, why can't I rotate it another 10 degrees? Is this a bad ramp? But no, it's not. It was just me being an idiot. So, which is normal, par for the course. Okay, I will remove this guy though, because this one definitely needs to come off for the right ramp to go on.
As the kids would say very on brand for you, Kyle.
Very on brand. Oh wow, you're making me hip with the kids now. Very on brand. My sister taught me what stan meant the other day. Like I kind of knew what it meant, but I like didn't know. Like why is it Stan? I guess it's like an Eminem reference or something.
Yeah.
I never listened to Eminem, so that one passed me by. Now I finally feel like I am old. Now that I don't understand like slang, and like I feel like an old dude by saying like, yeah, that's hella cool. You know, it's like well, kids say that now, I guess too, but.
I say cool.
That probably makes you like seem really old. Like, she says cool.
Oh my god.
Who the heck says cool anymore?
I say groovy too.
Yeah, groovy, man. Okay, cool. We're just booming ourselves out now. That ramp, I think that's the safest ramp to put on first, but definitely need to get the pop bumper caps on because 2 of them will be blocked off. Once we put this ramp on, then we need to get the Giganto Habitrail which I think I polished up many, many episodes ago, but we'll find out now when I'm holding it. Yeah, I cleaned it up. The big habit trail, so the right ramp on this game leads into the ball popper, and then the big habit trail here goes in, wait, not like that, it goes in like this. And it's kind of hard because of the way the plastics are, so this is something I might need to take out. The boogeyman plastic.
Put it down.
Yeah, good thing this one's not tight. Okay, yeah, this isn't so bad. The order of operations will be pretty easy. Put left ramp in, put left habit trail, or put the big ball popper habit trail in, install the right ramp, and then install the end of the left ramp. So, yeah, pretty easy. Let's get the left ramp in. Let's also check. Shiny new ramps, yes. Hey, Draugr, guess what? I haven't forgotten. It's still here, and I am going to send this to you, and I'll try to do it tomorrow. Cool and groovy. Your dad was a vice. Your dad was a vice president at Morton Salt. That is super rad. It is in reference to one of my favorite bands called Jawbreaker. I like Salt a lot too. Like, don't get me wrong. Neil, what's up, dude? Welcome. Welcome to whatever the heck I'm doing is today. Okay, so we need to make sure we string our little rampy harness dude where it needs to go. There's 2 holes here, so it's making me wonder if there's something else I'm missing. Well, okay, no. So the long boy ramp attaches behind the back. This one is going to go here, but there might be another harness. I'm trying to think what. Oh no! You know what it is? Yes, we've forgotten a few pieces here. Okay, so I don't have a new one of these. We have this guy. Thank you. The monster slide is the left ramp.
And this we have to reuse too, don't we?
I might not put that back on. Customer might just have to deal with it without that monstrosity.
It looks kind of bad.
It looks really bad. We have the monster slide plastic, which attaches at the beginning of said ramp. And then we have the Bony Beast's eye brackets, etc., which attach here. So we've got a couple drilled holes through the playfield to be able to attach and put those things in. So these things do need to go in before the ramps go on, right? Once the ramp is on, we lose access to those holes. I have made sure that these switches work. Right, one thing we always want to do with micro switches is they click on and they click off. So if we're really quiet and I move this, click on, click off. It needs to click off for the switch to actuate, but the way that the nature of how the springs work on the inside. So in this position we can on, off. Test it with your finger and the ball guide, right? Because our ball this wire ramp is what actuates the switch, so we can listen, on, off. Test it with a ball. That's the other thing you're going to want to do. It's easier when the game is on, right? Since we have a switch that does click on and does click off, we're probably okay. But it is a lot easier to do it with switch test in the actual game. But using a ball, right, the ball's only going to move this ball gate a certain amount. So I'm going to listen. And the ball is not actuating the switch. The way to fix that is just to bend the damn switch blade, which is easy to do using a pair of long nose pliers. And let me look at this really quick so I make sure I do it right. It looks like someone's put a kink in it here, which makes it a little bit less sensitive. If we move that kink out and straighten the blade, that should force this thing to actuate it sooner than later, I think, if I'm looking at it correctly. So now let me get this pinball, and I'm going to listen as I bring it by. That works now.
Yep, I hear it.
You can hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and the thing is we don't want to adjust it too close because we don't want a little vibration to accidentally make this switch go. Also, now the switch is putting a decent amount of pressure on this ball gate. It still works though. But we also don't want it to be adjusted so close that it won't unclick. We don't want, again, if once it clicks to actuate, it needs to unclick again before it will actuate again. If it is adjusted too tight and too close, you might lose that click off, and then you might be chasing your tail a bit. Okay, so this thing needs to go in like this, like that, and then I need to lift it up so it gets over that bracket, which is what tripped me out for a second the other time. And we can put that down. Let's see. So I'm going to need to get some new ramp screws. I'm also going to tighten the Bony Beasts bracket down to the side of the playfield here really quick. What screws do I have? They don't need to be pretty because they're going to be underneath a plastic. Here's a couple truss head guys that are okay to use when hidden. Guess I can bring the camera a little closer too. Like that. Yes, the whole playfield's kind of getting blown out from the overheads, but that might help even it out. Yeah, turn it on. It is? Oh, it's unplugged. It is on, but it's not. This isn't in the way any longer, so that is why we are installing this. Okay. And then we can get the monster on there as well. I think this is not the most efficient way to route that. Actually, that might be the best way to route the harness. Because if it was underneath, what I noticed here, yeah, that's nice. What I noticed with this assembly, let's see if we can kind of get it. You can kind of see what's going on here. I was looking at this like, oh, this is stupid. This should go underneath. Well, underneath it might sag. Having it in this orientation will keep the majority of the harness physically unable to get in the way of the ball. So I'm going to leave it that way. I deem that to be correct. Now I wonder, let's see. Get those guys down there. Okay, and this is where you're going to start running into your first issues with putting on, or maybe your first or second issue with putting on new ramps, is they are thicker and they are wider. And we already have these rubbers installed. Yeah, that was actually easy. Sometimes they are a little, you have to pinch them to get them in. I did have to pinch them to get them around these rubbers, but yeah, that's good. Now, we cross our fingers and hope that these holes aren't super blown out. This game actually had the correct screws in it. Now, actually, hold on, did I bring these? I may have brought a pile of new ramp screws, but I know I have them in my toolbox. Let me just get them out of my toolbox. Aaron, how are you looking on time?
Oh, good.
Okay.
I should have to leave at 5.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. You just take a look. When I say ramp screw, Williams used like a beveled head number 4 by 1/2 inch screw to attach the ramps. They're very small and they like to grow legs and walk off. And then people will throw all sorts of whatever screw they can find into the game to get the ramp to stay down. Most of the time a drywall screw, and that's bad. Here is my teeny box of ramp screws. And the ones from this game are just too nasty to reuse. Especially on those like brand new beautiful ramp flaps, so we're going to use some nice new screws. And what I meant by blown out screw holes is, again, when someone uses a non-proper teeny number 4 ramp screw, those holes will become bad. They'll become too large to use the correct piece of hardware, and then you have to get a little creative. Usually putting a usually putting like a toothpick or something in to reinforce the hole in the playfield. These ones are good. Do make sure that you tighten them down all the way so the ramp screws are underneath the ramp flap, or at least level with it. Don't want the ball hitting those and getting airballed. Nice and smooth, good transition. If you're the kind of person that has really oily fingers, also do be aware of touching the ramp flaps too much. They can start to rust. I have met people that have like insanely like oily hands that like I swear they'll pick up like a pinball and then like an hour later it'll be rusting already. I think I have pretty dry hands, so I'm not worried about that. But hey, look at that. Okay, we have a ramp. That's better than no ramp. So I'll take that round of applause that you guys I know are giving me behind the scenes. Thank you, Aaron. Now we can install the monster slide plastic because it will be in our way. I don't know what size screw that is. It looks like it might be a number 8. I think I've got a couple short number 8s in this thingy-maboober. I don't know why it would be a number 8. It should be a number 6 from everything that I would think of. Well, I guess I have both here, so let me just see what size it is. Hey, look, someone gave an applause. We got an LMAO. Gloves recommended usually. No, never. Hi, Tracy. Long time no see, my friend. Digerati is applauding. Thank you.
Well, that's it.
All right, it is number 6. Okay, I'm just losing my sight, losing my mind. What's the rest?
Somebody would tell me I'm fine.
Yep, thank you. Thank you for completing my Papa Roach meme. Yeah, all these screws suck. So now it's time to bust into the nice screw pile. I know I have a bunch of screws in a box around here somewhere. I like don't want to go into my box of hardware I carry around with me because I just know that the next service call I go to, I'll be like, damn, I really wish I had that screw I used. But I swear there's like a box that has a ton of number 6 by like 1/4-inch screws. We're going to look for it for 1 second. They should be marked. It won't be like just like rando bag of screws, you know? Nah, that's cool. We'll just bust into my screw stash. You always have a screw loose. Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm here, right? What sane person would spend 12 years working on pinball games for a job? Nobody. We all are a little crazy here. What's the Cheshire Cat say?
We're all mad.
We're all mad here. That's it. Thank you. You're just completing all of my things that I can't remember all the words to today. Thank you. Round of applause, please, for Erin. She's the best. Let's get some nice number 6 Sems head screws out of my random box of screws. So we have pretty screwage.
The lost drill bit.
The lost drill bit. I ate it. It's gone forever. Which one's this? Oh, nice. Matching screws. All right. Let's get in here and christen the monster slide. Da, 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 da. Truly monstrous. I think that's what Elvira says. Huh?
I can't wait to play it.
It was going to be awesome. Yeah, I wish you guys would tell me how crazy I am. I tell myself how crazy I am all the time. I need some affirmation. Excuse me. All right, look at that. It's kind of turning into its kind of turning into a pinball game again. sort of is looking like a pinball game, sort of. Wait, why is it all cockeyed? There it goes. Oh, no, tell you it's fine, like Daddy Roach. Thank you for telling me it's fine, Tracy. My own joke went over my own head.
Yep.
Flipside Ramblers. Been a while. Oh, hey, nice. Well, welcome back, and thanks for reintroducing yourself, and it's nice to see you again, mate. Okay, let's, this is a delicate piece, so I kind of didn't want to put it on right away. Oh, crap, that actually attaches in another spot. I didn't know. Oh, crap. Okay, it's good to look at everything. Well, this attaches on the side of the playfield. It also attaches to one of the bits that I attached the monster slide to, but it also attaches with a post under the ramp that we just installed. So we're going to loosen the ramp again and get that straight up and down post reinstalled to support our friend the Bony Beast. The Bony Beast, what a guy. It looks like it's a wood screw post also, and I think there's a bunch of them inside the game that I can reuse. So let's see how much we can loosen this sucker and also complete our goal without creating like too much more work for us. But remember, I always say this, sometimes the perceived easy way is not the easy way. It might be easier just to remove the whole dang thing. But I think I have just enough room to get a nut driver and a post that is not in here. What about over here? There's another box of hardware from this game. Somewhere over here. I feel like we had a couple posts that just like needed to be replaced or were so dang bad they had to go. Well, okay, let's go dig into the parts pile here. What drawer are they? Here, right here. All you have to do is say, where did I put that? And it shows up. What is this thing? This looks fake. This is dumb looking. I want to use it here. And like a mildly deformed post that I think will work just fine in this application, especially since it's not like load bearing. I think this is just a little too short, like for a very good like connection or like it doesn't stick out enough. Like if the ball was going to hit this, but this is a perfect weird little post to put here, because all it does is hold up a 2-gram piece of plastic. And that'll do. It kind of doesn't do, but it's fine. Let's see. We put the Bony Beast here, where its eyes, the Bony Beast's eyes are here. The monster plastic needs to come off. Where's the screwdriver? Take it all apart to put in one post rubber. Yeah, well, these games are not designed, these games did not keep in mind, or keep usability, serviceability in mind so much. Not all of them did. Some of these 90s Williams titles are just notoriously a pain in the ass to work on. It's really one of the wonderful things that they're doing at Stern Pinball now is like making games that are, you don't need to take like all the way apart to do like really simple stuff on. What's the best way to run this? I think this has to run under here, under the ramp, and then this guy has to run like that. Bend that ramp out of the way a teeny bit, and it all fits. Okay. This is a, oh, Also, I didn't put the post in the right spot. Okay, there's 2 holes back there, and I put it in the wrong one, so we had a 50-50 chance. The new Stern games are really easy to work on. That's what I was trying to say. And then you have like kind of like a sea change, I think, at Williams at one point. They were very much like cognizant that things were a pain in the butt, and that's also another reason why pinball was disappearing from arcades, because they are not easy to maintain. And things became easier. I talked to Steve Ritchie about the budget that he fought for to make the upper playfield on Black Knight 2000 serviceable with 1 screw. And the entire thing flips up, and then you can service it. And it even has its own prop rod, which is just amazing. Nice. Okay, that's super cool. I'm gonna put a nut on the Bony Beast. Spooky. To keep the Bony Beast in place in the spot where I can't get to when I tighten the ramp down. Oh, please, don't be a pain in the butt. The Bony Beast plastic is not available right now, but I was speaking to the supplier that makes these things just a week or so ago, and they will be running this tool again. So you will be able to get new Bony Beasts. Have you played Scared Stiff before, Aaron?
Yep.
I like the Bony Beast on that game. He's scarier looking. This one's just kind of like,
I have it. I know. That's not the newest one, right?
No, that's Elvira's House of Horrors.
Yes, I've never played Scared Stiff.
Yeah, you don't see Scared Stiff as often anymore.
If people order for a back glass for Elvira, this one and Scared Stiff.
Oh, really?
Stiff today.
Someone bought a lot of back glasses for their Elvira collection.
2, and then another one, Dolly Parton.
Oh, I want to meet this person.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton and both Elviras. We've got like the same taste in pinball. Okay, now I'm going to try to tighten all this down and get all the holes lined up. There it goes. Yeah, you don't see Scared Stiff anymore. That was like one of those games that like really fast turned into a collector's item. Like back in the early 2000s, that's like a game that's never been affordable, and now they're like even less affordable. But it's cool that there's like an Elvira trilogy, though. You know, it's like
love that.
I love that.
I didn't know there was 3. I thought they were the same game. Scared Stiff and House of Cards.
And now you've discovered the older one. All right, I'm going to get another truss head screw out of my screw box here to install the Bony Beast on, because it deserves a shiny screw. I don't think there's a Scared Stiff in Savannah. Because if there was a Scared Stiff in Savannah, Ryan would have bought it. Oh, that's a Bally truss head screw. I'm going to save that for a Bally game.
Oh, that's pretty sick. No, I haven't played it.
Yeah, you'd remember. It's hilarious.
No, the other
Well,
spine going across the ramp.
Yeah, that's the new Bony Beast. It's hilarious in like a sexist, like 1990s, like way. You know what I mean? But it's also like it's the same. Well, it's not sexist, I guess, in this way. That's like Elvira's like trolly and empowerment of herself.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's a special game. It's one of those things where it's just like magic. It's a good game. It's hilarious. It's got good assets. All I have are number 8 truss head screws. What the hell?
There's only 3 original boogeymen on Etsy for $32.
Yeah, that's a lot. You know what the boogeymen actually are?
Yeah.
They're just Archie McPhee finger puppets.
Yeah, I know.
$30? Like you can just get new ones for a lot less than that.
$32.40.
Jeez. Okay, well that sucks. I suck at keeping hardware because I don't have a number 6 truss head screw, other than the Bally one I don't want to use. So that's fine. I will add that to my list. Can I? In my brain that I'm going to forget like in 5 minutes because ADHD. Black Knight 2000 has an amazing soundtrack.
No, Black Knight has 3.
Yeah, there's 3 Black Knight games too. Yeah, Star Wars kind of doesn't count though because it's like its own property. Like Elvira is her own property also, but it's like Elvira in her own pinball world, right? Like there's a lot of reoccurring jokes that happen from this game and then into Scared Stiff and then even into the new Stern game because all of the same people worked on all of them basically.
Yeah, that's right. I knew it. The Portal.
It's at the Portal?
Yeah.
That place isn't there anymore though.
Is it?
They don't have any more pinball.
Oh no.
So they must have sold, Ryan bought those games, but I don't think he got, he didn't get the Scared Stiff, so.
No, that was the one I said didn't play very well. Yep.
Star Trek has a decent amount of games, but again, it's like, but that's it's a property, not a, I don't know, an original thing.
Kiss has 2.
Yeah, that is true.
8 Ball.
Yeah, does 8 Ball have its own like lore and universe?
I realized.
8 Ball Deluxe, 8 Ball
Yeah.
Champ. It's like things just keep getting more better and delicious. Okay, well, I think I'm going to call it there because the rest of this is going to take time and doing, and that's fine, and we'll finish it up next week. And I need to get screws for the pop bumper caps. I need to figure out what that is. I think it's a number 4. I'm going to need to get some better sheet metal screws because I need to make sure I have the right truss heads. I also want to make sure I'm going to have...
Flippers?
Yeah, well, we'll finish up the top next week, and then we actually have to do the mechanical bit. That's going to be fun. Yeah, it's exciting. New flippers, we're going to rebuild the flippers. The drop targets are horrendous and a mess, so we need to fix that. But yeah, it's definitely getting there. I'm hoping that I can probably have all the ramps on, or at least have all of these things on, little bits and pieces on the game before we like come back next week. So then hopefully it's just kind of like, yes, let's put the ramps on, and now let's do some mechanics. Because then we'll be like so close to being done, it's not even funny. I do need to remote the batteries. I don't know if I'm going to install a Ramtron. I guess we could install a Ramtron, and I'd be fine with doing that on this game, NVRAM, whatever. We've done it once, but we did it a really long time ago. I don't know. We'll see. At this point, I kind of just want to get it done, and installing the NVRAM on the TV is going to take a while. I don't mind remoted batteries. I prefer the Ramtron or the NVRAM just because no matter who owns the game in the future. So to do that one, so click Sony, click the eyeball.
Yep.
But now click the eyeball on Razer B. Remember, because Sony's below that. So now, yeah. Oh, wait. Well, the camera's cocked. You need to turn the camera. But. And then we're good. But yeah, I don't know. I think we'll do some remoted batteries. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. I guess I don't need to do it on camera either. That's the other thing. I could just solder it in and tell you what you have to do. I don't know. That might not be the way to do it. Nice. Hello, everyone. Bob. Yeah, Bob has his own character in the Pat Lawler games. Crazy Bob. Crazy Bob is in Junkyard, which is now sitting by my desk at work, which is funny. Yeah, I might just install remoted batteries. You just keep a really long lead and mount them very far away from the computer. That way, that's something we can do in 5 minutes instead of 35 minutes. For most customers' games, I'll always put NVRAMs in. NVRAMs are ways to keep the games from ruining themselves when the customers forget that batteries are in there. That's what happens. And that's fine. That might happen in this game too. Probably not, but we're going to remote the batteries. It's official. Yeah, Bob has his hot dog stand in Fast Break, huh? Put motors on the legs and drive it around like the Boney Man. they've already done that. We've already had that happen in pinball. But yeah, that's super cool. I'm super glad that that stuff kind of went together relatively easy. Let me get this little box of hardware here. And since no one wants to ask me any questions, right? So let's talk smack.
Is that because of battery corrosion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Battery corrosion is bad. Battery corrosion kills the pinball. I don't remember what size these dang things are. I think, where's the screws that used to be in these pop bumpers? Maybe I got rid of them because they were all so wrong and bad. But I can take, I have to get the spacers that go over these. Actually, those are in here. Right? 1, 2, 3. I don't think those are them. Maybe I put them in the actual game. I'm great at keeping things clean, guys. I'm a very organized person. Extra organized person. I'm the most organized. Where did I put them? Yeah, you don't want batteries. Most people forget that the batteries are on these games, or they don't know that the batteries are on the games, and then they never change them, and they leak, and it destroys very expensive components, and that's not fun. So that's why I like to put the ferromagnetic rams in there, because the ferromagnetic rams do not require batteries to save information, thus saving the game in the long run. It's just kind of a pain in the butt on this computer to install it. It's not that hard, but for my reasons stated above, we're just going to get rid of this damn thing. Okay. I found those spacers. Now I just need to figure out what screw size those are, put these super sweet caps on. Almost there. And then we'll do the mechanics, put the ramps on, try to fix them. I'm trying to have to crane my neck. Oh, wait. This camera is still on, and it's in a weird... Got your rush topper. All right, good. I'm glad it made it across the pond. I'm still waiting for the Godzilla toppers to show up from Stern, but I'm definitely going to grab you one, Neil. I'll make sure that you get one of the first, and I'll contact you when it's there, and we'll figure out how we're going to ship it or whatnot, but you'll get it, no worries. You guys are nice. So cool. I'm glad you like it. This is a fun game. I can't wait to turn it on and play it with you guys. Question on the ferromagnetic rams. It needs battery power to write down info from the ROM, but not... well, yeah, with the ferromagnetic RAM, it doesn't require... they don't require voltage to save that memory in the RAM. So it doesn't require battery power to write anything, because when the game's on, it has its own 5 volts. So, yeah. But they're great. The thing with, okay, so the reason they're hard on this game, I guess, so if people are curious, is this is the RAM. Oh. No, it's okay. Let's see. We're going to do it on the small camera. Ooh. Oh, God. I'm having to hold too many things now. Let's not drop the translate. All right, you sit there. Yeah, center, and then click the top one, the eyeball on the top. So yeah, go down. Nope, that's the top right. See the folder above it? So scroll down a little bit. Scroll down, see there's a folder that says center. So now go up to Razor B, the top one, and click the eyeball. There we go. Here's the RAM. It uses a... the reason it's a pain in the butt is it's not socketed. And not only is it not socketed, it also, this is a 2716, I think it's a 16 kilobit RAM. Yeah. And the most common NVRAM is a 6264. Or it's a 6216. It's 6264, so a 64 kilobit RAM, which is a 28-pin chip. So the way we would install RAM and NVRAM in this is just, it's annoying. You remove this chip. You install a socket that's 28 pins, and then you have to move this jumper over one pin so it can address the larger RAM, and then it's fine. It is not that big of a pain in the butt, which maybe means I'm just going to NVRAM it. We'll see. You can get NVRAMs that are 16 kilobit, like a 6216, but I just kind of stock one because almost every game you can install a 6264, and some you can't. There's a great one made by Rob Anthony, who's an incredibly talented pinball fixie guy. And he makes one called the AnyRAM. And actually, I think I have one in my toolbox because I carry it just in case. It's an AnyPin. Here, check this out. So he makes his own custom, super cool NVRAM. That is, which camera? Am I on that camera? So this one's actually not an AnyPin. This one is a, well, this one's just a 6264 version. But it's similar to this, but his AnyPin actually has dip switches that you can swap the switches to have it allocate or be compatible with other RAMs. So he has switches that'll make it work with a 5101, a 6216, or a 6264. I think even a 256, maybe not a 256, but most games use a 16 or a 64. Older games use 5101s. This one's set up just to be a 64. But I guess I need to go get an AnyPin RAM now, just in case.
I know, we can find one.
Yes, we sell them. I think I have a bunch of them at home. I bought a bunch of them from Rob a couple years ago. And then I also just like to use, for the most part though, I keep, because since those are expensive and they're fancy, and it's nice that they're configurable for so many different applications, but for most applications I carry, holy crap, I'm almost out. I'm glad I opened this up. In my bago chips here, I'll keep just a Ramtron brand 6264, and then a bunch of chips. I have more like regular RAMs in here. Anyways, Ramtron, NVRAM, good stuff. We're going to install NVRAM. I changed my mind because I am manic today. Yeah, anyways. All right, we're done. That was fun. We did something. I don't feel like we did a ton, but we did some swapping. It's going to be really quick to go together now. And then we get to ceremoniously put some new boogeymen on too. And that's always fun. We like boogeymen here. Good boogeymen, not like creepers. We don't like creepers. We just like boogeymen, little finger puppets. I'm going to kind of just put some of this crap on the game and then put the glass back on, so just in case there's any more construction going on in here, it doesn't make the game dirty. Huh? Oh, wait. Oh, hey, look at that. Okay, you can kind of get to that with the ramp attached. That's good. I have to get a screw down there to hold that on. Oh, the glass. Okay, yeah. You know what? Let me put the ramps back in, and then we'll throw the glass on.
Yeah,
Thank you. Let me screw these back down so I don't forget. Well, not that I would forget, but I might forget. I forgot like 10 minutes ago. And then we're going to go. I'm going to go home and eat some food and get ready for the Formula One race this weekend, the Spanish Grand Prix.
You watched the one in Miami?
I did watch the Miami Grand Prix. I looked at it. My friend and I we might go to the Singapore Grand Prix next year because we have an inn in Singapore. But for the price it would cost to get just basic like BS grandstands at that Miami Grand Prix, I could buy a flight to and from Belgium, rent a car, and drive to the racetrack in Belgium and get a really nice seat for less than it would cost for that joke of a Miami Grand Prix.
Did you see the guy posted his view and it was right behind? He's like, I'm so happy I spent thousands of dollars on these tickets.
Is it like behind a pole?
Yeah, no,
Oh
he
my
was
God.
behind a, I guess somebody, there's like certain seats you can have where you're up top. It's almost kind of like a suite, I guess.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it's just like a bummer of a.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He was stuck right behind them and he couldn't
See
a
anything?
thing.
Yes, kind of a goofy thing. The race was fun, but it's just like, it's so expensive, it's silly. Anyways, the TT on the Isle of Man, is that happening now? I didn't think that was until summer.
This summer,
Is it summer already?
June 1st?
I guess it is June 1st,
Well,
huh?
almost, June 21st.
Okay, well, basically summer. I don't know, I forgot the Isle of Man TT was this early then. I'll have to watch that. You know, I'll fire up my VPN and pretend I'm British so I can watch it for free. My Elvira Party Monsters pop bumpers drive you crazy. I put new discs already. Sometimes the bumper doesn't actuate. Well, you have to make sure it's the switch might not be working. You want to make sure that the switch is responding when the pop bumper is hit. They take adjustment, and it's kind of an annoying adjustment sometimes, but practice makes perfect. But the game is only going to actuate or do what it is told or sees. So if you don't have the switch that actuates the whole assembly making good contact, it won't bump. And that is probably going to be where your issue is. We can go over that when I put all this stuff back together. I just need to figure out what the screw size is for these suckers. And it's going to be so awesome. Okay, Aaron, you are free to go. Goodbye. Thank you for staying 3 minutes after 5. I appreciate you and all of the work you did today. Everyone clap for Erin. Say goodbye. She'll be back next week. And so will I.
Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday.
See you on Monday. Have a good one. Same with you guys. Have a good weekend. I'm going to do yard work this weekend with my super sweet electric edge trimmer thing that uses the same batteries as my super sweet drills and stuff I have at home. This is coming together nice. If I didn't like actually want to go home, my wife has been gone for a week. I miss her. If it was any other week where I missed her just a slight bit less, which is not often, I'd kind of want to finish this and get this a little more done. It's just a few screws to get some things on, but I should go home and have a nice dinner with my wife or something like that. Let me kind of organize a little bit. Thank you for tuning in. I hope some of that was useful. It didn't feel like we actually did much, but it is crazy how much different the game looks like when you put a ramp on it. It looks so much more complete, and we've also kind of confirmed that like we have everything. We didn't miss anything. There might be some stray flyball protectors that I'll find out about soon, but otherwise, I don't see why not. Next week we will have all of these ramps attached already, or we will quickly do that, and then we will start on some mechanics. We have never actually tested any of the mechanics, which is kind of funny. Tracy is clapping, and we're getting applause for people. Yeah, I don't like using batteries though in games. Like I'd rather spend $50 and spend 30, 40 minutes installing an NVRAM that will never go bad. Where batteries do need to be changed. And that's the thing that really like damaged the secondhand pinball market for a long time, is when operators sold games and Joe Schmo bought a game. They didn't know batteries were in there, and that killed electronics, right? So I think spending the extra money, time, etc., to like actually bulletproof the game, that is time well spent. The argument I was making against it earlier was just because I am lazy, and the guy who owns this game and might sell it is a competent person that will teach people things. But any work I can do to like save a customer that extra bit is just worth it, you know? So I think the thing is though, it's like my Twilight Zone at home still has the batteries on the board and I'm never going to take them off because I know they're there. And it's might be the only Twilight Zone in existence that is A, like non-modified, and B, still has the batteries on the board, and it makes me giggle. In your guys' games, you could remote the batteries. You could keep the batteries on the board because you know they're there. But it's a good service and a good thing to do to your game to just future-proof it forever, you know? It's worth it. Okay, I'm going to put this glass on before I push this desk. This glass is also going to get replaced. I need to get a new sheet. Might as well just put all of that stuff into the game at the end. It'll be not a very cheap bill, but the game is going to be a whole lot better and nicer than when it came in here. So, all right, let's see if we can find someone to raid. Let's raid someone. I'm going to go home and raid the pantry for a delicious snack. I've been fasting a little bit more lately, and it feels good, but I'm also very hungry all the time, which is not very good. Is that something you have to monitor in Twilight Zone? Well, yeah, if your batteries start leaking, then that destroys the computer. So you monitored it just to make sure you don't destroy your own computer or your own game. I just change them out every couple years. It's fine. Okay. Twitch.tv. Who is streaming? Man, I mean, I always want to go. I always want to catch Manu, but he hasn't started streaming yet. He told me, I'll start streaming at 2 o'clock every Thursday just for you. He just hasn't. We can go see the birds. I mean, I like the birds. I don't know if you guys care about birds so much, but I like watching the birds. I'm going to refill my bird feeders this weekend so I can watch my birds in my backyard. There's a bunch of people playing Diablo 4. I don't know how I feel about Diablo. I'm not sure if I'm going to play the new Diablo. I don't know if I have the attention span I used to have when I was a kid. One of my favorite Hitchcock movies. Not those birds. I like the woodpeckers in my backyard. They don't annoy me as much as they annoy. I don't know why they annoy people so much. I think they're cool. And they sound funny when they start singing too. Angry Birds. Well, guys, we're going to go see the Burbs. They destroy your house. Not if your house is made out of superior material such as brick. Aw, CNK is like Snow White. Having little birds land on you. That rules. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to type that in. Okay. Thank you for joining. Thank you for thanking me for doing the stream. I appreciate you all. We're going to finish this damn game. We're going to get this game so damn close to finish next week that it's not even going to be funny. And then we are going to play it. We will play it. I'm going to make a moto. Let me play it for like half a stream sometime. It's going to be pretty cool. We're going to play. Elvira, I realized that you can't see anything. Hi. Now we're just here sitting in this room all by ourselves. Okay, anyways, I'm pushing this off. Raid California Burbs. Thank you guys for watching and hanging out and making fun of me and for completing my stupid memes And we're going to go. I'll see you all next week. We'll do some more pinball stuff. Thank you. And now Facebook and YouTube, like all like 3 of you.